Hi again, Panther fans, and welcome into Georgia State Football Weekly with head coach Trent Miles. I'm Dave Cohen. The Panthers heading into Week 4. They've played the first 3 games at home, and Coach heading out on the road to, I know, a part of the country that is near and dear special to you. You lived there for 3 years. Panthers heading out to Seattle, going to take on the Washington Huskies on Saturday.
Looking forward to it. You know, I had 2 daughters born there at the University of Washington Medical Center, and when you ask them where they're from, they both will tell you they're from Seattle. So we loved our time out there. Left to go be a head coach and really enjoyed it. And my wife loves it, and looking forward to get back. It's one of the greatest college environments on Saturday that there is in the nation. Just the beauty and the loudness of the crowd and just where the whole setting of the stadium, it's one of the best there is. So it's going to be a great experience for our young men. And then all of a sudden you're playing a team that's really good.
Yeah.
You know, they're big, they're fast, they're back to being what Washington had been years ago, and we'll have our work cut out for us.
All right, so Georgia State will head out to play Washington. Coach and I will preview that game a little more coming up in our next segment. 48-38, the final score in a high-scoring game at the Dome last Saturday against the Falcons of Air Force. Talk a little bit about that game. As you've gone back and watched film and you've had a chance to kind of digest the game.
Well, I don't think, and our coaches don't feel like defensively our young men went out and executed what we were asking them to do. I think they got kind of caught up in the option offense and just didn't quite do some of the things that we had worked on all week from a schematic standpoint, and it made us pay for it, you know. But even with all of that, you know, you had a segment there where we throw a pick in our own territory, and they get 7 points off of it, and then at the end of the half, they throw the ball over our head and get 3 points, and that's 10 points.
Right.
So, you know, those are 2 turns that we missed out on. That, you know, when you get into a high-scoring game, you know, you can't afford to miss your turn, and that was the difference in the football game. So our kids battled, played well. Offensively, they did some really good things. In spurts, there was a couple lulls there, but, you know, those are the things that we're trying to fight a young team from continuing to do and just keep getting better and better. And I think that's what you're seeing. I mean, for our program to go out and compete with the likes of an Air Force the way they did and where we're at in the stage of development of our program, I'm very proud of our kids, and they gave ourselves a chance to be in the game with a chance at the end, and we're moving in the right direction.
All right, again, Georgia State and Air Force at the Georgia Dome. Coach, let's take a look at some of the highlights. And again, you bring the Falcons into the Georgia Dome. They brought a good crowd in the Dome last Saturday for this one.
Yeah, great job here. Nick Arbuckle rolling out, hitting Donovan Harden on a corner concept. The pass was on the money, and it was off a sprint out, which was a new look for us. Being able to come back here and hit Joel Ruiz on what we call drive, and he runs the basic across the middle. Nice pickup. Joel had another outstanding game. And then a great run here by Kyler Neal, getting his first start, breaking tackles, carrying guys into the end zone, and securing the ball. Yeah, I thought he played extremely well, and not just in the running game, but in the pass protection game. Come back here on defense. One of our very few defensive highlights is to get a chance. McKindy, that's McKindy Cherador getting a sack. Quarterback was actually trying to throw the ball, and then being able to run what we call a glance route, fake the run and hit Linquez Blair behind the linebacker for a touchdown, and trying to get back into the football game. Doing a pretty good job here. You can see what happens when we do execute what we're asking to do. You know, we're able to get stops on the option, and then coming back and running another corner route. We call that chair Y corner or H corner, and hitting Linquez again. Nick putting the ball on the money and getting points on the board. And coming back and hitting Kyler Neal, releasing out of the backfield. Kyler does a good job of making that guy miss, and then breaking the tackle, gets a good block there from Linquez. Got a couple other good blocks. You can see Todd Boyd coming in the picture, true freshman, trying to get a block for him, and just kind of run out a little gas, got winded, and go out of bounds about the 2, and then able to come back the first play, hand it off on power to Duval Smith and get it in the end zone to get us, I think, to 38. And then at the end, you know, both teams being able to honor not only our band and fans, but be able to go over and pay our respects to Air Force, because, you know, these young men, it's a 5-year commitment when they're done. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be somebody on that field go over there and have to serve in battle. And we appreciate all that they do in the future for our country and our freedom. And and we just wanted to make sure that we gave them their respect.
Couple things coming out of that game. Nick Arbuckle ties the school record for yards passing in a game, tied Drew Little with 414. And I know
Kyler should have went one more yard.
Yeah. Well, Kyler, do people realize how strong of a runner he is? We saw the highlight of him dragging those white jerseys into the end zone. When he gets ahead of steam,
I don't think that people realize he's 220 pounds, and he's a very physical young man, and he's very young. You know, he played last year as a true freshman some, but in most places, you know, he would have redshirted and be a redshirt freshman this year. So we're looking for a lot of good things from Kyler for the future and this season, and really look forward to continue to grow as an offense. And we're a very young football team, and we've got a lot of guys like Kyler Neal that are only going to get better in the future.
All right, again, Georgia State headed out to Seattle, going to take on the Washington Huskies coming up on Saturday. We'll take a timeout. We'll preview that game a little further with head coach Trent Miles right after this.
Okay, when you're on the job, you're making tough decisions around the clock. Well, here's an easy one. Ford F-Series. It's a fact. On average, every 42 seconds, someone forks over their hard-earned cash to get one. Just like that, and that, and that. No wonder they're the best-selling brand of trucks in America for 37 years in a row. Hey, there goes another one. See you in 42. Ford F-150. Ford Super Duty. #1 for 37 years straight.
Welcome back to Georgia State Football Weekly. Dave Cohen along with head coach Trent Miles, and Panthers headed out west, going to take on Seattle. And, of course, we talked at the top of the show with Coach about he's coached there before, coached with Washington for 3 years, and, again, really enjoys the area. This is going to be one of the better atmospheres that this football program has played in. They've been to Alabama twice. They've been to West Virginia. They've been to Tennessee. This is going to be, again, one of the better atmospheres that we've all been to.
Yes, this will be a big-time atmosphere. They'll be loud. They're winning. Their fans love Husky football. You know, there were the Huskies before there was the Seahawks.
Right.
And they know that out there. They support them well, and they'll be out there tailgating, and you'll see 1,000 boats out on the lake docking to come in and go to the game. And the noise bounces off the roof. They have a roof that comes out. At least they did. So I'm pretty sure they still have it. And the noise bounces off of that, and it is a very loud place to play. And we have to work a lot on crowd noise, but just the environment and the excitement, the energy that's in the air. Washington knows how to do it well and do it right, and we're really looking forward to it. And I'm not the only coach. I got a few other coaches that were out there together. Coach Tim Lapano was the offensive coordinator. I was his running back coach. Luke Heward was on our staff. J.D. Williams was the DB coach. And Ronnie Fouch, our offensive graduate assistant, was a quarterback there.
Mm-hmm. And then followed you to Indiana State?
Followed me to Indiana State. But, we have a lot of connections out there and tied in with it. And, nothing but the utmost respect for the program and the people. The people are great people there, and really looking forward to going out there. And also looking forward to being the last time. Don't really need to fly over all these schools that are in this area to go out there and play again. So, this was all done long before we got here. So hopefully it's not ever goes on again, and we'll stay in the region.
Well, Georgia State's averaging 35 points a game through the first 3 games, and if you look at Washington's score, they're 3-0. And as you and I were talking, they played their first game out on the island in Hawaii without their starting quarterback and scored 17, but put 59 on Eastern Washington and then 44 against Illinois. So like us, they could score.
Oh yeah, they're very athletic. They're big up front. Their tackles are in the 6'7", 320-pound range. They've got a lot of speed. Their quarterback is outstanding. He can throw it and run it. He'll spread you out and make you defend the whole field, and then they have the ability to run it down your throat. So they are an outstanding football team, and defensively, they've got a couple of the best defensive players I've seen. Number 8 and number 7 can get after it, and they're big up front. They'll put pressure on you, and they can lock you up and play you bump and run man all over the field. So, we'll have our work cut out for us, but what we have to do is just focus on us and just worry about what we do and go out and try to execute what we do to the best of our ability and see what happens.
All right, Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck out there against Washington, and we'll see you right back here next week.
Thank you.
All right, I want to thank Georgia State's head football coach Trent Miles. Georgia State and Washington out in Seattle. We'll get back with more right after this on Georgia State Football Weekly.
Gutterman Group is a go.
Yes! Not just a startup.
An upstart.
Gotta get going. Gotta be good.
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 Growth is the goal. How do we do that?
I talked to UPS. They'll help us out. New technology, smart advice. We focus on the business, and they take care of the logistics.
UPS.
Good going.
We get good. That's great.
Great. Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great.
Great. Great. Great.
I love logistics.
We're back at Georgia State Football Weekly and joined right now as we talk women's soccer here at Georgia State. Head coach Derek Leader, and it's early part of the season for you guys, off to a 1-4-3 start with a pretty defensive-oriented soccer team right now. Talk a little bit about your group out of the gate here in the early goings of the season.
Yeah, it's been a slow start for us. Hopefully, it's not going to be only defense-oriented. We're hoping to turn that around. But so far, our back line, our goalkeeping has been fantastic, and hopefully we're going to change that and start to score some more goals.
Well, you mentioned your back line. Talk about your sophomore goalkeeper, Bree Haynes, 3 straight shutouts.
Yeah.
And for an offense that is, not scoring right now, it always helps to know you got someone back there that's good at keeping it out of the net.
Yeah, well, we're scoring a little bit, but Bree has been fantastic. It's been her second year, like you said, and
Right.
she's done a phenomenal job. We actually have several good goalkeepers. Krista Fox has been playing a little bit as well, but it's been Bree the last 3 games and 3 shutouts.
Have not allowed a goal, and I read this right off GeorgiaStateSports.com, 348 minutes. That's an impressive statistic to not allow a goal in that length of time.
Yeah, and I tell you, Sunday we just came back from playing at Davidson and another overtime match, but we were under a lot of fire, and she did a phenomenal job of keeping us in that game.
All right, so you got a solid defense. Offensively, who are you looking for to kind of step it up a little?
We've got lots of players and lots of potential. Ashley Nagy was a preseason favorite and got all kinds of accolades. Our first year in the Sun Belt. We've got Whitney Ravon, who when we were in the Colonial did a fantastic job. We've got Callie O'Connor. We've got several young players that are coming up, freshmen that are getting minutes. So we're excited, and it's just a matter of time.
Well, when you say young players, freshman players, that's cause to give you some optimism for the future, because this is the future in the next few years for your program.
Yeah, we've got 4 freshmen that have started at different times in the year, so we're pretty excited about them and the team for that matter.
All right, well, coming up for women's soccer, your final 2 non-conference matches, Mercer and Tennessee Martin, coming up this weekend.
Mercer's always tough. Obviously, an in-state rivalry. That's part of our goals is to win the battle of Georgia, the state of Georgia. They'll present a lot of problems, as will Tennessee Martin on Sunday. So we're looking forward to our last home weekend, and hopefully lots of people can show up and support the team.
All right, so final 2 non-conference games against with Mercer and UT Martin, and then you're on the road, early going in the Sun Belt. You get the Louisiana trip, UL Lafayette, UL Monroe.
Yeah, the Louisiana swing's always a tough one, long road trip. But I think everybody is waiting for the conference and excited to get it going.
Derek, appreciate it. Best of luck, and we'll be following women's soccer as the season progresses.
Thank you.
All right, I want to thank Georgia State women's soccer head coach Derek Leader joining us. We're back with more right here on Georgia State Football Weekly.
We are Georgia State.
Atlanta is our home.
We've grown more than anyone thought we would.
And we're not done yet.
The time is now, Panther family.
It's time to unite.
It's time to build.
2,000 PAC members by 2017.
Join the Panther family. Join the PAC today.
Welcome back to Georgia State Football Weekly. Georgia State and Washington Saturday night in Seattle as the Panther defense gets ready to take on the high-scoring Huskies. Right now, we go inside the huddle with Georgia State's defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter.
Hello, Panther family. This is Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator here at Georgia State, and welcome to Inside the Huddle. Want to give you guys a little insight into how we go about game planning for a team. And so we're going to start. Well, the first thing we look for when we're getting ready to game plan for a team is what personnel that team has on the field. And we use a numbering system. We use the first number would be the number of running backs. The second number would be the number of tight ends. And so at 21 personnel would be a traditional 2-back, 1 tight end offense. 12 would be 1 back, 2 tight ends, 11 and 10, so on down the line. You can get anything up to 32 personnel, all the way down to 0 personnel, which would be 5 wide receivers on the field. And so when we're game planning for a team, that's the first segment of it that we look at, is what personnel they have. Within the personnel, we didn't need to know who the playmakers are. Is the quarterback a guy that can beat you, not only throwing the ball, but can he beat you with his feet? What type of running back do they have? Is the tight end, is he more of a blocker, or is he a guy similar to our tight end, Joel, that can get down the field and beat you vertically? And then what type of receivers do they have on the outside? And so, for example, I'm going to use 11 personnel as an example. This is a grouping that a lot of teams in our conference use, with 1 running back and 1 tight end. That would mean that there were 3 wide receivers on the field along with those guys. And so, we want to know, one, is the tight end involved in the running game? Because to me, everything starts first with being able to stop the run. How do they use the tight end in the running game? Is he attached to the line of scrimmage in all of their formations, or do they take him and flex him out and use him as a wide receiver to create 4 wide receiver looks? And so we use all this information, put it into our database, have the ability to break it down by not only personnel, but then into the formation names that we use to identify formations, and then also the location of the running back, using the backfield set that we call it, whether he's on the tight end side, is he on the open side, is he behind the quarterback in a pistol alignment, and all of that stuff ties into, is it a tight end run game? Is it an open side run game? Are they using that tight end more on the perimeter blocking for screens and bubbles and those types of plays? And so, the personnel first, and once we have all that broken down, now we take the playmakers into it. And so if there might be a guy, for example, a team might have a number 5 wide receiver that you need to know where he's lined up every play, and they take him and line him up on a single side, or they line him up on a trip side, and so part of it is knowing where their guys are within the framework of the way we break it down. And this gives us great information to put together a game plan and attack the offense where we see best, and try and get the Panthers a victory. So thanks for stopping by for Inside the Huddle, and we'll see you soon.
Again, we want to thank defensive coordinator Jesse Minter for taking us inside the huddle as the Panthers get ready to take on Washington. Again, Panthers on the road for the first time as they head to Seattle, going to take on the Washington Huskies. East Coast time, 6 o'clock, 5:30 your time, if you're listening to us on the Georgia State Football Radio Network. Panthers are off next week, so there will be no Coach's Show with Coach Miles, but we're back in 2 weeks right here on Panther Vision and GeorgiaStateSports.com.